Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Here Be Dragons. I am your host, as always, Stephen Stark, and joining me this week, regular human Johnny Daytona.
Well, hello.
And then a slightly out of focus Nessie of Antipaxos. Oh, look, there you are.
Sorry.
Sort of.
I'm out of focus.
You were a little bit fuzzy, but you're much sharper now. So yeah, hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about some What We Do in the Shadows, as you can tell by both the thumbnail, the title, and my background, and Nessie's background. Yeah, we're going to be talking some vampire mockumentary. It's a good time. I had a blast with this show.
John, I don't know anything about any vampires. I'm just a regular human guy.
Right. Who likes volleyball and talent shows, right?
Precisely. And Marvel films.
Oh, God. Oh, God. We went there, huh? I'm surprised you even own a Marvel shirt, John, to be honest with you.
It was a gift, my friend.
King Beard is very happy. You are getting quite beardy, John, I must say, and I'm here for it.
Well, it goes with the disguise.
Right. Yeah, like there's a lot of love for the beard, Mr. Daytona. So I will say that particular episode was also a delight for me. Obviously the Jackie Daytona stuff is hilarious, but Mark Hamill as a ridiculous vampire was just
I knew you would love this season just for that.
All right, I am going to dispense with this just so I can talk in detail with you, because God knows it's ridiculously hard to talk with that damn thing in your mouth.
For sure.
My darling.
Oh yeah, everybody, it's me, in case you didn't
notice. My gosh.
Yeah.
It's you.
Seriously, Stephen, I want to know, like, what was your reaction when you first watched this episode? And did you already know that Mark Hamill?
No, I had. So I actually watched the season quite some time ago, but I did a rewatch yesterday and today. And when I first saw it, like, no. And of course, he's a good enough voice actor that I just didn't quite pick up on it being him. And even the makeup on him was good enough that it wasn't immediate, even when they showed his face. But it didn't take very long before I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I know who that is.
It's just like, I admit, I got spoiled because I don't remember if I had heard about it or if I saw like a thumbnail image when I was binge watching this show the first time. But I actually knew that he was in, but it did not take away from the absolute pleasure of like the minute he drops down. And it's like, oh my God. Like my love of Mark Hamill just keeps going up and up and up because the fact that he's like, the guy is willing to have so much fun, just doing the goofiest stuff in the world. And,
yeah, I was on Zoom the other day and we were talking about just in general what a treasure Mark Hamill is. He is well loved by many of us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Super guy. Excellent voice actor.
Yeah.
Cravensworth.
And then, like, I don't know, there's just something about him at the end as a vampire in a tracksuit coaching women's volleyball with a Billy Bath under his arm. It's just this show does absolutely ridiculous so well. And it seems to me like every episode has some new level of just how weird and silly it is.
Yeah. We get to the next layer.
I'm going to pull up some, like, I'm going to pull it up on Wikipedia so I can follow along with.
Oh,
here we
yeah,
go.
Lady Starfall popped this up, and yes, I've seen some of the previews for that, and it looked hilarious.
Which one?
Oh, Our Flag Means Death. It's a comedic take on piracy. It looks
okay.
Stupid.
I hadn't heard of it. But where'd John go?
Oh,
he just disappeared and left this regular human guy in his place.
He'll be back.
I'm sure he will. There were a few really good cameos this season, including besides Mark Hamill, we got Benedict Wong
right off the bat,
and Haley Joel Osment, who just had me dying laughing the whole time.
Topher.
And just
it was so stupid. Every character they introduced.
The high five that tears his arm off, yeah. And Benedict Wong casting necromancy while checking his email or Twitter or whatever he was doing on his phone.
Right.
I really like Benedict Wong too. I've seen him in a few things. Obviously he's in Marvel and I love him in that, but I've seen him in other things too, and I think he's just great. And he was so funny in this. And my big takeaway from that simple episode is that Nandor is waiting for me. I'm waiting, Steve. Which I've never been called out like that before. It was really awesome.
Yeah, and it was kind of cool. Now this is part of my headcanon. I'm looking at you, Jess. All necromancers just have some weird sweatshop in their basement for all of their return models.
Kate, it's worth it. Go back, watch again. You won't be sorry. It's really funny.
Oh, you pick up new. This has probably been my third or maybe even my fourth watch through. It's you always just pick up something.
Well, the show is endlessly rewatchable.
Yeah,
because of course, I tell the story just to get on Nessie's nerves because she tried to get me to watch the show so much, and then I pretty much I wasn't coerced or anything, but when I went to go see Aziz and Ashay, and they were like, "You want to watch this?" And I'm like, "I'm not going to say no." I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Of course, you're going to watch it.
Yeah, and then seriously, I stayed up half that night just watching more and more episodes, and so the next morning she was like, "Oh, you're watching it again?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm already on this episode." But the reason why I say this is because I finished binging the first two seasons by the time I was leaving that weekend, and as soon as I got home, I started from the beginning and watched it right over again because it's so much fun.
It's a wild ride.
It's not some of your closest friends weren't telling you how delightful this was and how much we knew you would enjoy it.
Well, and John, mine was a similar experience. Everybody was like, "No, you need to watch this. You'll love it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll get to it. I'm really glad I eventually got to it, though, because it is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did.
And I keep trying to pick a favorite, and I can't. Every time I think I've got a favorite figured out, it's no, this other person has this thing that makes me think maybe they're the favorite, and that's not just for. And that's not just.
I may be dropping a tiny hint.
Right.
As to my favorite. But no, I know what you mean, because then there's times when I'm like, I freaking adore Colin Robinson.
Right, even Colin Robinson.
I know, like we all like. There's three of us. We've kind of like tuned into like we're identifying with one, but none of us have like picked Colin Robinson.
Well, okay, so I'm Nadja though, which means you're Nandor.
Of course, I'm Nandor because I am relentless.
Yeah. I just
Without
never
my
relent.
relentless nature, none of you would watch this show.
Right.
I'm kidding.
I like it. Maybe I was a little too relentless.
And I feel like I'm being called out by saying that I'm Laszlo. I might be a little more comfortable than I care to admit.
Right.
You're definitely
no,
Guillermo.
I am not.
But like,
well, no, I mean only because you guys don't treat me like crap.
Right.
So I can't be Guillermo.
Yeah. So this season, once again, we got a new familiar around the house that's showing Guillermo up, and this is a theme. This just becomes a thing. By the how many times they go, that Nadja and Laszlo go through familiars.
Like that's the whole shtick of the first episode, is that they keep killing their familiars accidentally.
They're just,
which is a real shame because a couple of them were very cute. Anyway,
but it's so hilarious because like you think, okay, well they've got that resolved because like this is the new guy, and nope, he's gonna not only is he gonna die, but he's gonna be turned into a zombie,
making tiny little license plates.
License plate keychains, yep.
I mean, labor's cheap.
Okay.
We burned the dung. When we ran out of dung, we burned the donkey.
I too know what it's like to cry myself to sleep by the light of a burning donkey. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I think Nadja is my favorite, but they're all so funny. Even Guillermo, Guillermo had a lot to do this season too. Like he had his own arc and everything. And
yeah.
Yes, he did.
But yeah, what do you say we just start with episode one? Well, we've already mentioned it several times about Benedict Wong as the necromancer, and they're going through familiars left, right, and center, and then we get the fantastic Haley Joel Osment as Topher.
When he was crawling on the ceiling, I was like, oh my God, here we are. There's nothing wrong with him. He's fine.
Right.
I think he might be a zombie. There's something seriously wrong with him. That, my boy, is slander.
Yeah, it's really, I don't know, it's really funny and silly, and like the way that poor Guillermo, man, like I can't help but feel bad for him, but this whole show is written to take a dump on Guillermo the whole time.
Right. Well, it's his whole thing. He's the one who's like got this whole fantasy about what vampire life is like. This is like his whole dream. This the whole, like the Anne Rice, the vampire Lestat, Armand. It's like this. It's so sexy and cool and just magical. And the reality is, you've got a day trader as your, this guy over here who doesn't take any of this seriously. This is just a side hustle for him. It means absolutely nothing to him. And,
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we love him so much.
Yeah, I'm a 0.5% owner in Doe's Apples.
Doe's Apples.
I mean, really, and he just and he has to stand there while Nandor just, completely disrespect every single turn.
Every time.
Like, even when he's talking about not eating him, it's like, it's a diss. He's like, I used to be tempted, but
Yeah, right.
not anymore, right?
Not anymore.
Yeah, just the way that he's always like, how many times Guillermo has a good plan and says something like, "Not now, Guillermo, Gizmo." It's called Elmo by somebody at some point.
What does his license plate say? Where he's like, I guess it's
Gigi?
better than I guess it's better than Gizmo.
Right. No license plate for you, Guillermo.
But the fact that Nandor has mine, I mean, I'm just going to call that a win. This would make a very nice present for somebody named Steve.
I'm waiting on
You know, his hair, Nandor's hair, is the actor's real hair.
It's flawless.
Like, yet, like, how man has perfect hair. Just saying.
Sure, let's keep this conversation
Okay.
going.
Guillermo, those good ones too.
I mean,
Sure, blame it on the familiar. We've all done it.
Yeah, okay. Well, so that was episode 1 with the Necromancer, and it was a really fine return to form for the show. It was funny. It had a couple of really good, guest actors in to do some stuff.
I really do like, and yeah, okay, shirt notwithstanding, we all know I'm not like the biggest fanboy for the MCU, but every time I see one of those actors pop up on here, like the last season, Dave Bautista was in there, and of course Taika is a big a big part of the show. He's one of the creative voices behind it. So every time I see somebody from the Marvel films, I'm like, oh my god, Steven's trying to get a kick out of this, because I know how much you absolutely adore those movies, and so when I saw Benedict Wong, I was like, yes, that's beautiful.
You're not wrong. Like, I enjoyed seeing him. It was funny. Well, and it's just because the show is so silly, and well, a lot of Marvel movies, they have humor, but they're not silly the way this show is, and I really appreciate. They're not the same kind of silly.
They're not okay. Yeah, they're not the same.
Definitely not the same. All the same silly page. Oh gosh, nobody in this series takes themselves in the least bit seriously,
Right.
except for Guillermo.
And as Wheezy is pointing out, it's 420 somewhere. So praise Garth.
Praise Garth.
Whose blessings are many. Yeah, then let's just move on to episode 2, entitled Ghosts, which is where
oh god,
ghosts.
The introduction of
Mm-hmm.
the ghost doll.
Yeah, Nadja's ghost doll.
Yes. Oh yes. This was so funny. I mean, everybody is kind of like confronting their pasts about in this. So I'm like, that's kind of like the premise, but it's so cool that Nadja finally gets someone that she can talk to, which is basically herself.
Herself.
So, like, sorry, but also like we touched on this last. Yeah, we touched on this last time. It's like she's happy because like she gets to converse with somebody who's as smart as she is, but she's the smartest of the group. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's necessarily all.
She is wise in the ways of donkeys and witches.
Right. Yeah, she is the smartest idiot in that house.
Yeah. So she finally gets a bus. She's surrounded by. She's like the only lady vampire there. She kind of gets her bestie now, but it's this doll. It's creepy doll. And the fact,
I like
and
that.
it's
Nadja, like when Ghost Gregor shows up, Nadja's like, go away, but the doll's like, call me. Yeah.
call me. It's like, I'm free.
Yeah, Nadja doll keeps it real for sure.
Yes.
So I just love the whole shtick early on where it's like, ghosts aren't real. And it's like, really, ghosts? That's where you draw the line. And then when Laszlo goes out on the front porch and just pretends that he doesn't see anything, then he closes the door. He's like, holy shit.
But it's interesting. They all have to like confront their past. Like, what is their unfinished business? Well, Jesk is obviously Nadja's unfinished business, or actually Nadja is Jesk's unfinished business.
Right.
But poor guy, he doesn't get any help.
I know he's just been told to get lost over and over again.
Yeah.
And they don't help him by the end.
Yeah.
Like Ghost Gregor is still out there somewhere.
I'd actually forgotten that. That they didn't help him, so he's definitely still around.
Hanging out. But I mean, and to the shock and surprise of no one, what Laszlo's unfinished business is literally unfinished business. Yes, that's ectoplasm, of course.
Right. Yeah, ectoplasm for sure.
Yes. And Nandor's, what was Nandor's
the horse?
Oh yeah, Jahan.
Like
Jahan.
John. His best friend is John.
I cried the whole time I was eating him, even though he was delicious.
Oh, still my favorite horse.
So Nessie, given that you're Nandor, I should say two things from that. A, I'm your best friend, and B, you're going to eat me someday.
You will be delicious. Still my favorite John.
What was hilarious to me though was the whole up dog thing that Colin Robinson kept trying to do the whole time. What we probably need is some up dog. Can we go get some now? And then he resorts to summoning his dead grandmother's ghost to drop the up dog joke on her, and then he's like, "Bye." Blows out the candle. I'm like, brutal, man. Brutal.
Oh yeah. I mean, the king of the whiny. The dad jokes from him.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, dog? What's up, dog? Hey, what's up, dog?
If I didn't know what up dog was, I would probably at least ask. He's so bad at it. The humor part.
I know.
Okay, Lady Starfall says Colin Robinson's the only thing she doesn't like about this show, and is it just you? I'm sure it is not just you, but there is something about that character that I still love. I still do.
Yeah, I mean,
it's irritating as heck. But
I'm sure there's other people who don't like him, but I'm not one of those because I absolutely adore him.
I'm not one of them anymore.
He's so funny because he's so annoying. Like
he is.
Well, and plus it's just it's just the concept of an energy vampire that also is so funny.
Well, his humor is a little bit different, from the other guys' humors. It's really that very dry, subtle, just like the world is against me, nobody loves me, but it's just so dry, and it's the type of humor that you either really like or you just it really grates on your nerves. But it's very similar to, the type of performance he gave in The Office and that type of humor. So if you don't like that type of humor, then yeah, Colin is going to rub you the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of worked his way under my skin, much like a thorn that I cannot get rid of.
Right. But I don't know, just that episode with the ghost was really funny, and it did give us, Nadja doll, which we do get glimpses of here and there for the rest of the season, and just
I love Nadja doll.
It further reinforces just how, like, Laszlo doesn't believe in innuendo. Laszlo will tell you exactly, he won't use a euphemism to talk about something sexual. He's going to graphically describe it in detail.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't we all met a Colin? I know some energy vampires.
Oh, yeah.
Energy vampires are the worst. Yes, we've all been there. We've known
Indeed.
them.
Yes.
Kelly says she knows he's cringe, but she likes Colin. I like Colin too. Yes, he's cringe AF. And we'll really dig into it probably more when we get to his promotion episode. But
oh God, yes.
Shall we move on to episode 3?
Oh yes,
brain scramblies.
Brain scramblies, and the superb owl.
The superb owl.
Right.
Which is like the joke. Which is the joke that if you're not familiar with the show, you're like, what the hell is this all about? And then, of course, if you do know it, it's an utterly delightful reminder of this episode.
Yes, I was calling it that when it was on the air, recently. Everybody at work was just looking at me like, what is she talking about? No, it's the superb owl. I'm waiting for the owl to make its grand entrance.
I mean, it sounds a lot better, honestly.
I would probably enjoy it more. I love owls. Don't care about football.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite lines from that whole episode is, we're taking a human shit together. And I'm just like...
Wait, what?
We're taking a human shit together.
I know. And he said that. I'm like, people don't say that. They're not very subtle. They try to fit in so much, but no, somehow missing the bar.
I just like say as a film geek, I just like take a moment to appreciate the oddity of that is the fact that Sean has an Ocean's 12.
Yeah, the largest collection of Ocean's 12 memorabilia.
And that's his shtick through this whole thing. He loves Ocean's 11, that's his thing.
No, Ocean's 11 sets up, there's a lot of world building, but man, Ocean's 12 is where it really pays off.
That's where, yes, I'm like, oh, this guy. You should have him on an episode of.
You have to stop talking about the sea.
Oh, yeah. Because you're talking about Ocean's 12, yeah.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, it's really funny, too, because not just talking about how she used to, like, stick the little girl to the ceiling, and now she's a senile old woman. Can you hear the screams of my mother? Looking for her lost jade necklace that has
right
scream in it.
Oh, I hear the screams of my mother. Yeah, that it was kind of sad seeing that a little bit, because you get the flashback. This little girl actually had this experience, and now that she's old, people really think she's senile, and she's actually telling the truth. So she is a little sympathetic there. I
Yeah.
give her. She is a sympathetic character. She was tormented as a child by a vampire.
Well, and she's not treated very well as an old lady either. Like, she appears in the kitchen, and the first thing is it Charmaine? Is that the wife?
Yeah,
The first thing
Charmaine.
she says is like, "Oh, do you need to go back to bed?" Like, get out of here, basically. It's kind of sad. But they have a very toxic relationship anyway. But
yeah, that actually, I had a bunch of really weird different reactions to that just because of the things going on in my personal life.
Right.
Where at various moments it made me sad, and then it made me, laugh about sort of, things that I've been sad about. So in a way, it was kind of nice because it's like, no, this person isn't actually like having, like, memory problems right now. What they're saying is actually true.
Actually telling the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. And, but yeah, so. But
they're thinking,
yeah.
So the brain scramblers has like double meaning for this episode.
Yeah, there's a few episodes that have sort of multi-layered meaning to them. But yeah, brain scramblers, it was just such a fun one to watch them try to figure out how to navigate around normal people.
And it's like,
and then try to like make Sean have a decent last night on Earth before they tear his head off.
I just find it so hilarious whenever they're interacting with normal people. How like we talk about how dumb our main characters are, but then the human characters who just brush off, how freaking weird these people are.
It's New York.
Right. But then we meet people who absolutely believe that they're real. The mosquito hunters of Staten Island in this episode.
Yeah, that episode
is that this? Yeah, it is. I'm looking at the
Guillermo
right
has
now.
to find some more. He's on his constant search for food to feed his.
Right.
And speaking of The Office, we get another familiar face from that show. I don't remember his name, but he's the one who leads the mosquito hunters.
That actor is called Craig Robinson.
Yeah,
Craig Robinson. He's a great.
Yeah, the leader of the mosquito collectors club. Yeah.
How do you feel about
that was this episode?
Blood sucking,
right?
Creatures. I just love the fact that poor Guillermo just finds himself. It's the group of vampire hunters.
Yep. So we get Jenna. Remember Jenna from season 1 who got turned into a vampire. We meet her roommate Shanice, who was scarred by this encounter. That's how she kind of fell in with this group. And then we meet some other members of the group, which will all these little bit players. You'll see them again. They don't ever leave these characters by the side of the road. There'll be some tie-ins later. So watching us meet these characters is pretty cool.
Yeah. I think he goes there looking for virgins, and just of course, he Googles virgins in my area and is like, I don't know why I always do that. But he's getting, of course, porn responses,
Right. I don't know why I do this. The internet's not helping. So yeah. So the first it was the LARPers, and now it's this mosquito hunters.
I also like that,
really apologies to to mosquito hunters everywhere.
And then the one other dude is like, I think we should all have sex with each other so that they're not attracted to us as virgins. They don't want to eat us.
Man, you really got to stop suggesting.
Every year.
still it just has Guillermo just like questioning the what his role in this household is like he's providing sustenance. He's
he's
going out
killing
and
people.
procuring. He's bringing people to their death and then getting rid of the
indirectly,
bodies.
but he is killing people.
Like the yard must be
not a
so
good guy.
full of bodies at this point.
Let's not make any bones about it. Guillermo is not a good guy.
No, because he's grown very comfortable with what he does, and that's not a good thing.
He's having quite the crisis of conscience this season, but he hasn't really made that separation yet.
No, well, the crisis of conscience he's having is like betraying his vampire masters, who he feels are like he's close to, but I don't know like how like he does a little bit like when they go to the house and he thinks that they're normal people, he's trying to dissuade them from doing that. But as far as like the stuff he's done for his own masters, like he doesn't seem to be that torn up about it.
No. Now is this the episode where they go on the actual vampire hunt?
No, that's the next episode entitled "The Curse."
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Yes.
The chain letter.
Hey, let's move on. Episode 4, "The Curse." This is where
the chain letter.
Nandor wants to check his email for some reason.
Like once every 10 years, right? Like me.
Right.
And he only has 2 messages.
Yeah.
Nobody only has 2 messages after 10 years.
Somehow he did not get on that list. Nobody's worried about his auto warranty, expiring, or wants to offer him better insurance rates.
Right. Like one was a free screening of The Blind Side, and then Colin Robinson's like, "Ooh, Sandy Bullock, she was great in that." Colin, never change. But Bloody Mary's gonna come kill you, and
this is not a joke.
I know.
Right. Do you think it's a joke? No, it says right there, several places.
And
so like the way it escalates throughout the episode, where like, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, God bless Nadja, she is the smartest of the group, but she's like right there with him and being terrified of his curse.
She's still a moron.
Yeah. And and the fact that they get later in the episode, they get the call from Guillermo. Like, you're all gonna die.
You're all gonna die. It's Bloody Mary.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. Oh my god.
Like they believe in the strangest of things, But
and then don't believe in the strangest things.
Exactly. Like their basis of reality is just like, what is this?
I also love that Colin never misses an opportunity to feed on everyone. Can somebody take care of that comment, please? Can one of the mods take care of that comment, please? Appreciate you. But Colin never misses a chance when they come down and try to get his email. He's got to tell them a story about who he's going to send the email to, and cuts away and it cuts back to them sometime later. He's talking about something completely different, and they're like passing out in the doorway.
Colin is like the perfect internet troll. Like he feeds off of like, I'm going to send him a fax. Screen call function. Oh yeah.
I might try that. That's good.
But yeah, we meet back up with the vampire hunter group of the team, and then they're like, okay, there's a whole other house of strange vampires in Staten Island that are like
the hustle family, as we will find out later.
Hmm.
With like weird bushes out front, sculpted bushes, a tropitary, tropinary, tropitary.
Right. And that, like, oh, how many weird, crazy houses in Staten Island with obscene topiaries are going to be out front? It must be Guillermo's friends, right?
Guillermo does kill a whole bunch of vampires this
He
season. A
kills a
whole bunch.
ton.
Yeah.
He kills a
Yeah.
few in season 1, but here in season 2, he kills a lot.
He is a badass.
Right. Like this scene in the house kind of really just brings it out. Like Guillermo is like coming into his own as a vampire hunter. Reluctant vampire hunter, but but still.
But a natural.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
just love the
natural.
fact that he can, like, trip on something and he'll still wind up
Of killing a vampire. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
anybody catch his actual last name? Do you know what it is?
It's De La Cruz.
De la
Yeah.
Cruz, meaning of
Mhm.
the cross, which is a
Of the
very
cross.
great name for a vampire hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Is to be of the cross. And
It's
you have
not
that whole thing.
Guillermo. It's not Guillermo.
Yeah, it's not Guillermo.
Yeah, but they end up having to leave one of the team members behind there at that house.
But we still have to get the van back to his mom, who's got
Right?
to cater a quinceañeras in the morning. Yeah, see, Lady Starfall knows this. I saw you say earlier this is your favorite show, so yeah, I'm not surprised you know it's De La Cruz.
Oh yes, Mr. De La Cruz. And like he is so happy, Guillermo's so happy when they roll up on this house, and it's not his friend's house.
And it's not, yeah.
And yet,
and then
both
everything goes horribly wrong.
Wrong. And those are some creepy looking vampires in there too. They're like
They
so
are.
creepy.
I can't remember the name of the guy that died in there. I can't remember the character's name, but like one of two things is going on. Either A, you're in a house full of vampires, or B, you're in a house of innocent people. Either way, don't start playing electric guitar.
That's a perfectly natural thing to do.
Time.
But Stephen, if not now,
you never know. You never know when you might get a sick riff or something in your head. You just gotta let it out. It's such a Bard thing to do.
Well, he paid for it with his life.
Or did he?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I think he probably did. We didn't see him again, and that whole vampire clan died as well. Guillermo went to town on him.
Mm.
Oh, well, yeah, but then there are still a bunch left because they turn on the camera crew, then run down the stairs. I just love that when we occasionally get reminded that
there is a camera crew. Like that fourth wall just gets broken, and it's like hilarious every time. Like it comes unexpectedly.
Yeah. Oh, you brought some friends, that type of
right. Come in.
we get periodic.
Like, oh, you brought snacks. Great. I guess it didn't, the camera crew did not necessarily, they weren't as fastidious or picky in their eating habits, maybe, that they preferred, their preferred food. They're like, the camera crew's here. Cool. We'll eat them too.
Yeah, I love how no matter the situation, people are always like, oh, the camera crew, come on in. Anytime they choose to point it out, the people are fine with it.
Oh, yeah,
no
that's fine. Right. The superb owl or some random vampire's house. It's fine.
Even though it is from a later episode, but we're talking about the camera crew now. I do love when they go to you know, the theater for what's supposed to be a big show, and the vampires at the door or say to the camera and crew, you know, make sure you keep your media pass on at all times.
Right.
Like implicitly saying, if you don't, you're gonna get eaten.
You're gonna get it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But
And
but that's also probably something you would hear at an exclusive event too. Like over media, make sure you keep your media pass on you at all times.
Which is why it's so great.
Right. That just designates you as not food, as opposed to your officially, you know, you're acceptable. You're not going to get thrown out. Like the worst thing that could happen to you somewhere, like the Kennedy Center or whatever, is they'll throw you out. But here you might turn into like, you know, the snack. You are essentially walking popcorn. But they keep giving little tidbits in on the these episodes about Colin's feeding habits and how they do differ from the other vampires. So we see that paid off in the next episode.
Yeah, I guess we can move on to that one. Colin's promotion.
Oh, so good. So good.
See, I think like this is definitely one. I mean, I'm pretty sure I really liked Colin before, but this is definitely one of those episodes that, like just cements my love of the character because he's just like, he goes in scared he's about to be fired because they found out he doesn't know anything.
Like when you hear him, when he's in there, he's like, no, you can't do this to me. You find out he's becoming the boss.
Right. Which really has such office space, vibes. But yeah,
like this guy just essentially just showed up at an office and claimed an empty desk and just set up shop there, and everyone just assumes that he works here. But what this episode really points out is Colin he's got two battles that he's is going on in his brain. Like he wants to be part of the group. He wants to be included in everything. He wants the companionship that the other vampires have with one another, but he's constantly being excluded, pushed to the side
because he's an energy vampire.
Because he's an energy vampire. Yeah. So his feeding habits are contradictory to, him having relationships and friends and companionship. So
people think I live to feed. I feed to live.
Right. Some of the gags in this episode are some of the best in the whole show, though. Just some of the sight gags, like where he's like, I'm becoming something bigger and better, and he like rubs his head in the hair, that's cool. Or he's like swimming down the hallway.
I can fly now.
And like with the freaking and of course I would recognize it right off the bat, but it's like several pieces from Mozart's Requiem Mass are playing during this. It just adds to this, like this really scary thing he's becoming. He's becoming even more powerful, and then of course when he needs to shave down his head because it's
like all huge and everything.
But he's like a brainiac or something.
Yeah, like he's so creepy.
Like shaving down his actual head. I'm watching this. I'm like, that's not how any of this works. But
and the episode kicks off too with the housemates having they're redecorating. They're tired of how things look. They're redecorating, and Colin had says, "Put this picture up. This is a fine picture. Put this one up." And all it does is causes conflict with the other roommates. It's like he sets up a situation. That's just Colin low-key trolling his the roommates.
Or not just got.
But we could never hear his name. But now I know it was that asshole Nandor.
Asshole Nandor.
I also love that she, like, this is a painting of my vulva. Nandor, don't look. But then she, like, looks at the camera. Huh? Wants the camera to see, but not Nandor. The
Not
camera.
Nandor.
And then
Never.
Guillermo was putting painting up and just placing his hands on her butt and the painting.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "What are you doing?"
No, this is for vampires, not for you.
And forget from.
So I just love the way that they're like seeding little bits of the vampire's backstory in this episode. That Nadja and Nandor have this remote connection in the past that only now is being revealed after being roommates for 700 years. Like, what else have you not told me?
They really haven't done anything in that 700 years. In all of that time they've lived together, they basically just wasted their entire life.
Exactly. Like, they don't know one another. They don't know their past, their history. It's like they know little things, but they're still completely nearly closed off from one another.
Yeah,
like
I can't remember.
How could you not know that your roommate just burned your village?
It was a long time ago. It was just 200 guys out having fun.
And a horse named John.
And
John's in that portrait too.
He is, John.
And how
I love later when Laszlo has redone the picture. He's like, I've put myself in your place. It's just the face like smudged down.
He fixed it. Now everyone can be friends again.
Where am I? Oh, you're in there. Bad luck, old chap.
I think probably the weirdest image in this whole episode was when Colin splits into 3 versions.
Oh yes, I was just about to bring that up.
I mean, what does that even mean? Like, he can only be friends now with himself, and he can't really even be friends with himself.
Yeah, because they all like instantly started draining each other.
But then the whole thing is a ruse, just so he can.
It is and it isn't. 2 of them die. Really die.
Yeah, that wasn't on purpose. Like, oh, I guess they are dead.
But like, Colin's feeding frenzy forced an entire company to collapse as well.
Yeah, and they're just drained on the couch.
Or like in that last part where he's walking through the hallway and he's like TGIF and somebody just faints, Or like he points at the woman in the hallway and she goes flying back and knocks a hole in the wall and then walks by the plant. It grows, it turns to dust.
And then he had to get a new job because the business went under.
Yeah.
Because nothing was being done.
And he's like, "Oh, I finally figured out what we do here. We plan and market playgrounds or landmines. I'm not sure which." I'm just like, whoa,
God.
bro.
That's such a throwaway line because I don't think I noticed it the first time watching this.
I don't think I did either.
And then on this viewing, I was like, what the hell?
Or landmines, I don't know.
Yeah. This is one of the funnier episodes to me. Colin's promotion. There were so many great sight gags. And Colin Robinson gets a real chance to shine as a character. And we do get a little bit of development because I think he genuinely does like his housemates and wants to be able to hang out with them. That's why he was so upset about the promotion, because it was going to take away time from his time with the people he actually genuinely likes.
Yeah.
But it's tough for him because he is so unlikable. They don't want to be around him.
Right. I mean, they're constantly accusing him of draining them. And then when he really goes to town and like fully unleashes his powers, like maybe they realize, hey, he wasn't like really doing that, or he wasn't hurting us all along. Now he's literally draining the life out of us. So maybe they have like that little realization moment that, oh yeah, he wasn't like doing this all along. It was now that he's let loose, we know what he can do, what he's capable of.
Right.
So not so bad. So in the end, they're all friends again because they fixed the portrait, and Colin tones it back down. But he made his point. Like,
well, and he also loses some of his power when he's not the boss anymore.
Oh, of course.
So he's not living in that feedback loop where he can drain people without having to even talk to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just a funny little, metaphor. Like all that power has gone to his head. When it's just this enormous. It's literally gone to his head.
Right.
And everybody's had that boss that makes you sit in on that meeting that just drains the life out of you.
And just the when they're calling into corporate and he keeps talking over everyone, I'm just like, oh my God, Colin, shut up. I want to wring your stupid neck.
I've been on that WebEx,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I think, well, honestly, like that is why I love his character so much, and why it's such a genius piece of comedy, because like Colin Robinson, like we've all known Colin Robinson.
Yeah.
And so it feels so true to life. And
yes, he is the most believable of all this crew.
Yeah.
He says something to one of like when he moves into his new place. He says something along the lines of, "Are you a fan of conservative AM radio?" And I just was like, "Oh my God!" For those of you that don't know, I have a coworker who would answer yes to that question, and it is an bit of an energy vampire thing for me too. I'm fortunate in that I can just put in my headphones and listen to something else, but he is a fan of conservative AM radio. And I am not.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Y'all, we've been going for about an hour. Should we do a mid-roll and then come back and talk about the back half of the season?
Sure.
Great. So this is the part where we remember that we're on YouTube and we say, please hit the like button, the little thumbs up. It's down there. Also, hit the subscribe button. It's also down there. We're on the march to 500,000 subscribers. So help us get there. Spread the word. We're on the road to 500,000. Also got to make sure we shout out our patrons. Our patrons keep the lights on over here, pay for a lot of the sort of behind the scenes back end stuff that we use. So thank you very much to our patrons. Our Patreon High Council consists of our alpha patron, this guy right here, ridiculous Ed Tollett. We love you, buddy. Thank you so much. He's saying like and subscribe. But our High Council also consists of Lord John Bronsteen the Wise, as well as Sixto Sounds, a.k.a. JP, the Axe Grinder. And they are supported by the nobility of the realm, who are Ryan Stavka, the Russian Quartermaster, Reflective Rambling, this person right here, Arch-Maester Emma, Kate, Mistress of the House of Books, who I know is in the chat somewhere, this lady right here, as well as Jared Kozal, Doctor of Dragons. And this week we also got a brand new patron who has joined the Landed Knights of the Realm, Sir William, the Tindalos Traveler.
I think I know him.
He's a pretty cool guy. He's all right.
It's okay.
But yeah, thank you, patrons, so much. We love you guys. Yeah. So, John, Nessie, either of you got something planned coming up on your respective individual channels?
I do. Next Saturday, I'll be coming back for a new episode. I'll be joined by a certain Micah who has never been on my channel before. And we will be talking about the 1996 fantasy film Dragonheart.
It's about time.
Yeah,
Solid choice. And Mike is a good guy too. I like Mike a lot.
he's great. And
He's
what's nice is that he and I have not really gotten a chance to talk about something in this way before. We've chatted quickly about some movie stuff on like Zoom calls and stuff, but it'll be really a lot of fun to sit down and have a good, at minimum 2-hour conversation with him about this movie, which we both love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some love for Micah, some love for the movie. I'll be there in the chat probably. Probably. I like that movie well enough.
Yeah, that was seriously such a favorite of mine when I was younger because that came out in the pre-Lord of the Rings years, and so I remember when I first saw it, and you got Sean Connery as a freaking dragon. It's you can't ask for more than that, and I remember loving Dennis Quaid in the lead role as Bowen. It's definitely a classic for me. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's also got a baby David Thewlis in it.
Yeah, where it took me so many years to get over my dislike of him from this movie. And
wow.
And not like actor wise, but like he just plays such a asshole in the movie. So but then years later he would play Professor Lupin in Harry Potter, and I just would come to love the guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do enjoy the film. I do. Looking forward to it. Nessie, you got something coming up?
Yeah, you and I, we're going to do that thing sometime.
We are. I'm waiting for you to tell me when.
Well, if you got a few minutes after the stream, maybe we can pin down a date.
Fine.
Or not.
I'm kidding, of course.
I mean, I've been waiting for your people to get with my people. And
well, speaking of pinning things down, we all need to talk about what's going to be coming up.
Yeah, because I got something for next week, but not after that.
Yeah, so we find ourselves in a familiar position.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, I guess I better get to it then, because next week you guys are both not going to be here again. John, you're going to be doing your stream, which means that you don't have to prepare for this another I Know That Nerd. This time I will be completing the collection of my History of Westeros collection by getting Dancing Sean. Bearded Sean of House Beard, Dancing Sean, who has been co-hosting with Aziz in the Valar Rereadus for quite a while now, and was IRL friends with Aziz before they started doing, a Song of Ice and Fire related stuff. So for a long, long time, they've been friends. And I'm looking forward to having him on I Know That Nerd next week. So yeah, tune in for some Dancing Sean goodness.
Yeah, that'll be great.
And then we are always open to ideas about what to watch next. I will say Star Trek Picard just came back this week, and it was really, really good.
I was so happy because Paramount Plus has put up a really great deal for like
$2 a month or something like that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, and that's with no ads. If you are fine with ads, it's only $1 a month. So
it's like a 3-month special.
Yeah, so
plenty of time to binge Picard.
Yeah, and I'm telling you,
so I jumped on that, and I was so happy to be able to watch
And Picard is good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the first season we reviewed it, and I didn't love the ending. I really liked most of the season, but I didn't love the ending. And I know I'm not the only one who felt that way.
Yeah.
But this season has had a really strong start. It's only one episode in, but yeah, y'all watch some Picard, and like you say, John, there's a really great deal going on Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
2 of my favorite returning characters from Next Generation, like two big ones are there, and I'm like, yes, give me this.
Yeah, it's not a spoiler because they're in the marketing materials, but Whoopi Goldberg is back as Guinan, and John Delancey is back as Q. In episode 1, you will see them, so it's not that big a.
I just have to say, Picard's reaction when Q shows up.
Yeah, it was basically oh shit.
I'm like, poor guy.
Yeah,
like,
there's a couple oh shit moments, right? You know, we got like the Borg. Really? Like, let's just have them. Let's throw them right back in the mix here. The Borg Queen. Okay, great. We got this. So yeah, all of the
based on the preview of stuff coming up this season, it looks like it's going to have a lot of my favorite elements from various like the things that are familiar from certain episodes and certain movies in the franchise, and I think it's going to be really enjoyable. But we'll see. It's a strong start, regardless.
Yeah, it's a strong start, and if it continues to be strong, I'm sure we'll cover it eventually. My larger point being, if there is something that we want to talk, that you know, we have talked about so many things, and we have brought all the things we love to the table already. So, hey, you people who watch us all the time, is there something we should talk about? Let us know. We will. We are not taking demands, but we are taking requests.
Yeah, suggestions are always welcome.
Suggestions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for the mid-roll. Okay, actually, I think everybody here already knows this, but if not, wrong one. Well, I want you to, if you want to join our Slack group, you just need to send me an email at we3dragons@gmail.com, and you can join our Slack. It is very much like Discord. We have lots of different channels where we talk about all kinds of things. We've got channels for Star Wars, for music, for pet pictures, for Dungeons & Dragons. We have our Wordle channel where people upload their Wordle scores every day. So yeah, come join our Slack group. Send me an email at we3dragons@gmail.com. That is 3 spelled out, we3dragons@gmail.com. And I will also say, this is a little teaser. Myself and a couple of my D&D friends are working on a big project starting this week. So stay tuned for more information about that.
It's huge.
Danny McKay says Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I am here for it. I love that movie.
I mean, we don't have to agree on everything to watch a movie.
Right. Maybe we do that on a week you're off then, Nessie. I don't know, John. Do you like Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yeah.
I don't know. I might be looking to take that week off too.
Okay. So, Danny, you're going to come on and we're going to talk about Pee-wee's Big Adventure. How's that sound?
Oh, yeah. Sure thing.
I'll get Danny McKay as my super special guest. And we'll have fun talking about a very ridiculous movie from my childhood.
So ridiculous.
Okay, we should get back on topic with what we do in the shadows, because we're going to be talking about episode 6 entitled On the Run, which gives us the legendary Jackie Daytona, as well as Jim the Vampire.
Human vampire.
Human
bartender.
1 human alcohol beer, please.
How did you know my name? It's written right here.
Right.
On your card.
This
Oh
was
my,
such
like-
a weird, wild left turn.
I mean, I'll just go ahead and say, I know this isn't very original of me, but like this is my favorite episode of the show.
okay.
Just because
It
it's
is
so
really good.
it's so wild and ridiculous, and
Like somehow a inspirational sports movie made its way into What We Do in the Shadows. Where he's got to, it's so tropey about the guy that comes to town and makes the difference in like
the local sports team, like they're
Yeah.
failing. He like starts supporting the team and they start getting really good,
suddenly the balls are going where they're supposed to go. I feel like he's in the X Factor.
right, the random bartender.
Yeah,
Like,
the random bartender.
Hey, I'm just a regular human guy. I mean, it's like just the fact that, Laszlo freaking falls in love with, this volleyball team. And
Girls volleyball.
The town. And it's
In
just,
Pennsylvania, which sounds like Transylvania.
right.
So, yes.
which we all know sounds really cool.
Yes, it just centers
I'm
on
reading the episode recap right now. I also love that like Nadja is. I mean, I don't love that Nadja is beside herself, but she is beside herself in this episode. Like without Laszlo, she really does love him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
From
she is
Tucson,
literally
Arizona.
beside herself with the doll, literally beside herself,
Right.
having conversations with this doll. But it's over a debt from 167 years, a hotel tab,
Yeah, where he skipped out on last month's rent and the security deposit.
From the look on your
Right.
face, I can tell you were never expecting to see me again. You can
Right.
tell from the look on my face, I haven't got the effing clue who the hell you are.
Right. Jim the vampire. What a
Jim the
great name, too.
vampire. Oh, John, put your disguise back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, put your disguise back on. I would never know it was you. I'm sorry.
Daytona. Jackie Daytona.
I saw an interview with Mark Hamill where he talked about, basically he tweeted about his love of season 1 of What We Do in the Shadows. And I can't remember who, I'm not sure if it was Taika or Jermaine, but somebody involved in the higher up end of production sent him a message like, oh, we'd love to have you come play with us, come be in our show. And he's like, yeah, sure, but of course I'll do it. I love the show and I'd love to come. Right.
Yeah. Do this ridiculous character for you.
Well, he thought he was going to be like a bit part in and out in a scene, but they actually wrote a whole character for him, and he was like a featured guest.
The backstory and everything. Yeah.
Right, a featured guest star.
I've said this before. Like, if you got
if you're
Mark
gonna have
Hamill,
Mark Hamill,
if you have Mark Hamill wanting to be a part of your show, you're an idiot if you don't take him up on
Right, because
like,
there are
what
some
are
of
you
us
doing?
who will watch a thing just because we know Mark is in it.
Yeah.
We will give it a shot when we wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, I should have led with that, right? Hey, Steven.
One human alcohol beer, please.
Yeah. It's like I should have led with that. I don't know what I was thinking. Like I should have said, "Hey guys, Mark Hamill plays in this show. You should really watch it. But you have to get through all of season 1 to get to season 2 so that you can see it and it makes sense." I'll remember that for next time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried that with a certain show in which he's in throughout, and
I watched
some certain
But
people
he did try it.
couldn't finish it.
I watched
But
most of it.
I guarantee that was the main reason he even watched it.
But no, let's like obviously I made the the sight gag joke with my own actual toothpick, but let's just talk about the fact that Laszlo's disguise is a toothpick, which renders him completely unrecognizable to the point where Jim's
the blue jeans help.
Jim's sitting right there talking to him, has no idea who he is because of the damn toothpick. Even when he knows he's a vampire, when he notices that he's not showing a reflection, he doesn't know it's him until the toothpick comes out.
Right.
And then he says, "It was you all along."
Again, they do ridiculous on this show so well. And if you want, like, Mark Hamill, bless him, is not a Oscar caliber actor for the most part. He is a good actor. I don't know that he is a great actor. He is a great voice actor, but like for this sort of silly type of role, I think he was perfect.
Yeah, perfect. He was a great cast.
Great. Yeah. Although I mean, taking his career altogether, you probably have a point. Although I will go out there and cause some controversy probably and say that I think he deserved a nomination for the Last Jedi, but as far as like voice acting, he is unparalleled, and this, even though it's a live action role, it really gave him the opportunity to dig into his voice acting talents, because this was like he was going into like some Joker territory and spots and things like that. And so, yeah, it was, you could tell he was just having an absolute ball.
I'm going to agree with Aaron. When Laszlo got the truck and he just falls straight into the wall, I died.
I died. It was so funny. And that being a running gag throughout this series is just chef's kiss. Like, he's 500 years old and can't drive. What the hell? Come on.
Well, what's so ridiculous about that moment is at that moment, he doesn't need to drive. Like,
right.
The game's up. He can just fly around.
I know, right? He could fly.
But he was probably just wanting to hold on to Jackie Daytona for just a little bit longer. But unfortunately, he's a terrible driver.
420.
Whoops.
Yes. We all know what you mean, though, Weezy. Mm-hmm. You mean 420 smoking if you've got a heart. And then there's something else at the end. I don't remember what exactly, but we all know what you mean. And thank you, official timekeeper of Hubie Dragon.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did want to keep his truck.
and of course, Laszlo pays his debt with
a Billy Bass.
Yes, an artifact, rare antique.
It's the only one in the world.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how many of those have I seen at yard sales? I can't tell you. But he loves it, It's the fish that'll talk to you.
See, I was right. 420 smoking gum. Heart. Wheezy face. Smoke. All right, we got there. Thank you, Weezy. Seriously, thank you, Weezy. I love that I can count on you to keep the time for us. That also tells me we got about 40 minutes left. So is there something else to say about this particular episode?
Just that I absolutely adore it. And like this, why, like after I saw this show for the first time, I immediately like jumped on Twitter and was making Jackie Daytona jokes and stuff, because for me, like, this is definitely, it's my favorite episode. It's a classic of the show.
Yeah, I'd say this
I
is
just
probably
adore it.
the standout episode in the season. You know,
It's a really good one. I don't know if it's my
Laszlo's
favorite, but like, it's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to episode 7, entitled "The Return," which sees the return of Simon the Devious, who is
And the hat.
and
the hat. And the hat. I love that hat.
It's got a big bloody curse on it.
But it looks cool. And we see the curse played out again in this episode. When last we saw Simon, he was this big fam, he's major player in the New York scene. He's got all these followers. He kind of like dunks on them so hard, last season, and then now he's back, and he's living in the sewers in Staten Island.
and he's down to, like, his crew is down to Count Rapula and Carol. And
Oh my God, Carol is so freaking scary.
yes, horrifying, like terrifying. Like, I don't even know how else to say it. But that stupid bloody hat is bloody cursed. It is. Also, hi Cecilia.
Hi, Cecilia.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the hat is great in that it is, and also it is the ugliest hat. It is just
Here, let me just kind of
ugly.
pull out so you guys can see this. This is like this ugly
Like,
freaking
it's too
hat.
big for anybody's head. What is that strange thing puckering at the back of my head? The witch's asshole.
Oh, it's delightful.
It is.
Like, nobody on Earth would want that hat. That's like, just look at that thing.
But John, you're not a D&D player, so you don't understand. When you have a cursed item, generally part of the curse is that you don't know that it's a curse.
And you cannot willingly give it up.
You can't get rid of it.
You will fight to keep that curse.
To keep it, yeah. So I love it. I love it. It feels like I should make a D&D, witch hat of witch's skin. That just gives you the worst luck. Roll a 1 every now and then. Twice a day the dungeon master gets to decide if you rolled a 1.
I will say, as entertaining as like this plot of the episode is with the hat and Simon, like, for me, what really makes this episode sing is Colin Robinson and
the troll yeah.
Yes,
it's just so great when he's baiting these people online. It's like, oh my God, yes. It's what I was saying before. Like, it's so, all the stuff with Colin is so true to life. You recognize.
Yes, everyone has encountered Colin Robinson in some way. It's like that internet troll, that reply guy.
Yep.
I kind of need to, if he shows up in our comments, we'll know right away.
Well, actually, that's not how science works.
Yeah. Oh, just yes.
And somehow he gets his account span.
We are all very online. We have our online presences, and we've all run into that person who actually. But like Colin Robinson had a lot of really great zingers in this episode too, where he's like walking away. That's racist. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Or like, can you mansplain a little louder? Well, yes, I can.
And then to find out his nemesis is an actual troll.
Yeah, like, and yes, Sasuke, Sarah's like, and they had to blur out his crotch.
Oh gosh.
Why does this thing don't let me add properly? Are you on your phone, Cecilia? Because you can't. It don't let you add on your phone properly. You have to actually type it out.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
a little more
sucks.
cumbersome on your phone.
It is. It's not great.
But yeah, it's
The violence. Just...
but
and we
yeah,
get a little bit
and then
more...
when the troll you know, he gets caught out in the sunlight and Colin thinks he's one, but nope, troll grabs him at the last second. It's like, yep.
I think my favorite part is Guillermo kills Carol and Nandor finds out.
Yeah, we get a little bit more of Guillermo the Slayer, you know?
Yep.
And he like immediately his, you know, his instinct is, well, we'll just keep quiet about this, you know, and it's to protect Guillermo. Like I know we said a lot of stuff earlier about how, you know, Nandor is always shitting on Guillermo, but I think it's moments like this where you see that actually he really does care about him a lot, and
he does,
and actually wants to protect him, even if he's not. That's not always matched by what he says to other people. But yeah.
Yeah, you can tell Nandor really does care about Guillermo quite a bit, you know, and he shows this lack of maybe his reluctance to turn him into, you know, what he's become is like a lot of his, you know, showing that he actually does care for Gizmo and, you know, wants him to have a better life, maybe just to lead a normal human life and not live for 700 years with a couple of assholes.
Do you normal human life or regular human life? Like regular human bartender Jackie Daytona.
Yeah. Maybe he needs to get a job at a bar or something. Or go back to, what was it, Panera Bread? Isn't that where he had his job?
Yes, unfortunately, Sarah, we are kind of going in order, and that was episode 4, 3, and 4, and we're on episode like 8 now. Or we're on 7 right now.
We're on 7.
We're on 8. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and move on to episode 8, entitled Collaboration.
Oh, this is so stupid.
Which is Laszlo has written so many popular songs over the years that people have stolen.
And maybe not exactly the same version that became
right.
This is again talking about like Laszlo's, like, you know what you were saying
all about
earlier,
his sex life, okay?
Stephen, like he's just gonna just say, you know, what's on his mind, and and his songs definitely reflect that.
Yes, where he doesn't use innuendo or double entendre or anything.
No, he's just right out there talking about his masturbation moments or what have you, and immortalizing them in song.
And of course, Colin jumps at the chance to, you know, provide an
opportunity. Vampire feed.
Yeah. He says he's getting the gig, but really he's just, you know, taking them to open mic night.
Open mic night.
Which of course they call it that because they only, you know, open the mic to the most talented of singers.
They finally but isn't it they finally start singing the Jimmy Buffett song and everybody is...
that's the Beach Boys. Kokomo is the Beach
Boys.
Yeah,
Beach Boys.
And Nadja is supposed to be like a great singer, but as somebody who has been a singer all of his life, Nadja, like, I really think Natasha Dimitrios, the actress, probably can sing fairly well, because I think you have to be a good singer to be that bad of a singer as she is. to like she's hitting the pitch and the rhythm is all correct, but her tone is just
Not it.
she's so operatic in her delivery, like over the top operatic in her delivery. The woman knows what she's doing vocally to the point that she's doing it completely wrong on purpose, which I find to be very funny.
I unfortunately am a terrible singer. But we also get a little bit more Nandor Guillermo, you know.
Yeah, because we get Benji.
Benji. Yeah, Nandor's old, and let's say it, old familiar. So we get a little bit more on. We meet some other familiars, you know. That just seems to be a running thing. That the familiars, whenever they go, they're taken somewhere, all get stuck in a closet together with they're just put there like a broom closet here. Stay in here till we come fetch you, which could be days or years.
And Guillermo ends up leaving to go to Celeste, the vampire. Who swears that she's
the first familiar he knows of that's been turned into a vampire.
Which just makes like the ending all more sad. It's like, nope, Guillermo, absolutely nobody who's been no familiar who's been turned into a vampire, because of course it's a whole bunch of bullshit.
Right. Like, what? I don't need to turn you into a vampire to get you to work for me, when the promise of turning you into a vampire is enough to make it work. Although I really do love that by the end of this, it's a pretty genuine, okay, someday I will, Guillermo. I promise.
Yeah, and don't we see that he, after 70 years of, being Nandor's servant, that Benji he finally turns Benji?
He didn't turn Benji.
I thought he did turn Benji. I think that was like toward the end. I'm pretty sure he did.
I don't think Benji got turned.
I never understood like if that was the inference, or if Benji had been turned by somebody else and he didn't say anything.
Was Benji turned?
Yeah, and
he was turned.
Yeah, at the end you see him fly away as a bat. You have to make sure you stay for the after. The mid-credits sequences.
Oh, that's why I was probably like skipping to the next one. So
but that's important. Yeah, so Benji finally got turned, and I'm gonna say it may have been Nandor that did it. That's my headcanon anyway. He lived a full human life. So now he can be a vampire at 70 forever.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
It's better than being a vampire at 12, like Celeste's vampire master.
Right.
I don't remember, but like.
Or a baby that Laszlo may or may not have turned.
Right. Yeah, still left him at a gas station in Delaware after wiping his memory, after giving him the brain scramblies.
Yeah, the brain scramblies are back.
But no, speaking of like turning someone when they were old, just to jump back to that earlier episode where the old lady is like, I'd love to be young again. And she's like, no, that's not how it works. If I turn you out, you'll stay like this forever. And she's like, oh, never mind that.
Maybe not then. So, hey, if you guys were ever had the opportunity to be turned, but you could only be turned like later in life, shall we say, like past 50, would you take it?
Yes.
Okay, what about if you're 90?
I'm not going to be alive anymore, so I'll go with no. I'm not going to live to 90, y'all. I'm a smoker. I'm not going to make it to 90. Just, it is what it is.
I mean, the thing
yeah,
is,
50's
like,
not a bad age. 50's not a
Well,
bad age to
'cause,
be forever.
I mean, it should be as you are, like, fine, but then there's the whole thing about when you're a vampire, you don't have a soul anymore. So what does
That
that
was
do
not
to you?
established
That's
in what we
not
do in
been
the shadow.
established.
That's Buffy canon that you're bringing in.
We know
Yeah,
they
well,
have ghosts. They have ghosts. Where do their ghosts go?
Well, yeah, they say that that's the soul of the human.
No, I
So
mean the spirit. The soul, you're right. They do say something along those lines. But would I be a vampire? Yes, I would.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to feed on human blood. I already said yes. You don't need to keep convincing me, Wheezy.
But you could be an energy vampire.
yeah, but I wouldn't be able to
know how they reproduce.
But
Do you have to have
to
all
live
the energy sucked out of you?
to live for an eternity, but not be able to drink orange juice. That's the conundrum.
That's the deal breaker.
You can
is no
drink it,
orange juice.
John.
Yeah.
You can drink it,
But it wouldn't.
then
But
you
it
throw up.
wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't. It
real-
wouldn't.
Like violently throw up.
Yeah, it wouldn't be tasty to me. So
It's tasty
John,
going
my
down.
real
Not so
question is,
much.
if I became a vampire, would you be my familiar?
I'm struggling to see the difference in our relationship now.
Oh, snap. I don't think it works that way, John. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way. I mean, I haven't seen all the DMs and everything, but...
Okay, let's move on to episode 9 entitled Witches, which was another really fun one.
Yes, this was a good one.
It's Guillermo's day off, which was promised
Which
to
he's
him by
negotiated
Nandor.
a day off. Okay, he's negotiated
once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah, and he has to come to the rescue on his day off.
On his day off. Like, I can't leave these people one day. But Nadja kind of also gets to like do that idea. I told you so. Witches are a thing. She's the one who's so superstitious about everything. And here,
some of that witch-proof tape and tape down that rug, blaming witches blaming everything on witches.
On witches.
I also love that the goat just shows up out of nowhere, and what is that about?
I guess it's just like another type of familiar, which he and Guillermo kind of get along. Like, so how does your union work?
The goat's been waiting to be turned into a witch.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, how long have you been a goat?
Oh God.
But it's like there's this whole confrontation between Nadja and the witches. The guys get captured in like the strangest of ways.
Yes.
Guillermo has to puzzle out how to get into, it's the puzzle of how to get into how to get through the dungeon.
They have to find their way out of the room of 1,000 doors.
Mm-hmm.
This is just Spanish for exit.
Yeah.
Spanish for exit. Let's try this one.
Dude, can I just say F Colin Robinson for stealing Guillermo's thunder in that moment? Like, bruh, it wasn't you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right there. It says salida. Exit in Spanish for those of you that don't know. So just like how you open one door and there's like a fiery inferno. Nope, that's not the way.
Nope, that's not it. Yeah. And then Guillermo saves the day again with his fabulous negotiation skills.
Yeah, he does a Shark Tank presentation, which is what he was talking about, like watching on his day off and watching a lot of Shark Tank.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, a 3% owner in a vampire sperm business by the end of it.
Right. I mean, he's the guy who's got to clean up the house anyway, right? he's the one who has to take care of all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an unlimited supply that he stresses, which I think is kind of funny.
But just like, and how it like,
I wonder if that was one of the witches where Laszlo got his hat from, you know, because he and the leader of the coven have like this prior have had this prior relationship thing. Like, who on this series is like,
oh yeah,
Laszlo
because she looked like Nadja.
Yeah, looked like Nadja. I'm like,
really?
how
many dark haired, you know, European sounding
dark haired
people
European
had sex
accent?
With? Which
and looked at Nandor like
includes Nandor. And not just includes Nandor in the past, but also at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Because the end of the episode is they're both still very turned on, and they're like, "What do you say? You know." God,
I'm down if you are.
That's a
the
thing.
Is, like, I have no doubt Laszlo is down. I'm a little surprised at Nandor, but maybe not as much as I should be. I do harken back to the vampire orgy in season 1, where he had like a dildo suit, like dildos all over him.
It's like armor, you know?
Yeah, like
dildo armor. So, you know, if that orgy had gone, if they carried out with it, you know, there may have been a little, you know, Laszlo Nandor action, which Guillermo would have had to have narrated. So.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Sarah. Nandor's been around a long, long time.
Which I just love that in like in most normal shows, especially like a few years back, that would have been like, you know, just the, you know, like ships going on by the fandom. Like this show just goes all in on it. It's like, nope, it's canon.
It's canon. Yeah. Like anybody who comes, it's on the show is one of the 3 roommates have probably had sex with them multiple times, or they're thinking about it. Except for the werewolves. I think the werewolves, they kind of like draw a line.
Yeah.
Except for Nandor.
Oh, I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache, y'all. So,
we've got one episode left.
Yeah, let's move on to this last episode. My apologies, y'all. But the show must go on. I'll soldier through to the end. But let's talk about our finale, entitled Nouveau Theatre de Vampire.
Well, this is clearly a trap.
Theatre des Vampires.
Well, this is clearly a trap. Only an idiot would. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a clear callback to Anne Rice, her vampire series, The Theater of the Vampires, which had the vampire Armand. It was the vampire Lestat, I think, was the second book. Anyway, they introduced the Theater de Vampire. So it's like, of course, Guillermo knows this. You know, he's just, all he has to do is read this note and realizes, my friends are all going to die.
Right. You know? But it was so much fun. First of all, Jermaine Clement is back in this one.
Yeah.
And I love
the Vampire
Jermaine
Council
Clement.
is back.
I love him in everything I've seen him do. Mostly like this, and then Flight of the Conchords. I love Flight of the Conchords as well.
You guys haven't. I think you haven't watched Legion yet. He is so much fun in that show as well as just this sort of, you know, 60s hipster. But yeah, he's an absolutely phenomenal actor, and he's always a lot of fun to watch. I really want to watch the movie to see more of him in that because I still haven't.
We should probably do that. We should watch the movie and give our opinions on it because I haven't watched it either. I've kind of been saving that.
Apparently, Jermaine wasn't even supposed to be in this episode, but someone couldn't make it, so he hosted the theater performance and did great.
Yeah.
I'm glad it worked out that way.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed seeing him. I really enjoyed their weird interpretation of what the four of them had been doing. You know, they said they escaped.
Yeah, their crimes.
Looking guy.
The fact that vampires have put on a performance to enact out their accused crimes is
right.
kind of stupid and so
that? You saw the reenactment.
And I love the fact that because Guillermo has been doing all this stuff to protect them, they're watching. There's like, this is bullshit. We didn't do any of this.
Yeah, it's and then by the end, Guillermo comes in and goes full Van Helsing on the whole freaking joint. Just
like fully unleashed.
Yes.
So for his friends, to save his friends, he kills like what, 50, 75 vampires?
I'm not sure.
And the whole vampire council, you know?
Right. And the thing is, like, walked into the middle of them by himself and just went nuts on it. And
well, and what's so great is he walks in like right after like they've made fun of him by, you know, having the stand-in version of him, you know, acting all weak and defenseless, and then he comes in, you know, is the ultimate badass.
Yeah.
My name is Guillermo de la Cruz.
I love that he says that, and then Nandor is like, "We don't give a crap what your name is."
Guillermo.
Yeah, Guillermo. Oh my gosh, this show is so good. I'm really glad I got talked into watching it. And again,
I love that they let Guillermo do his own, like, his action sequences. Like, he's actually like this chubby guy just doing all these heroic moves and whatnot. It's so good.
Yep. I also really like that, you know, Nandor has to get out of bed by himself and goes looking for Guillermo and just finds the note that says sorry. And then there's like bodies everywhere and pools of blood that are making people slip and fall.
Like, you see how much Guillermo actually does.
Yeah, and then of course Colin Robinson is like, well, I guess I can go get the laundry, but it's going to be extremely dangerous. I'm not even sure I'm going to make it back.
I'll go to the dry cleaner for you.
And he's like, I was going to the dry cleaners anyway, but I don't want to become the go get dry cleaning guy.
Yeah, can't make it too easy for them.
Right.
Yeah, like they're all sitting around in like basketball shorts and whatever. There's no clean clothes. What are they going to wear to the theater?
Like, he's got the floofy shirt with the puffy sleeves and then the basketball jersey on over top of it. So fun. Like, this show is so smart. It's the writers are just, they're so clever about how to make these vampires look so clueless. I could never write something this funny. I have a good sense of humor, but I could never write something this funny.
Yeah, and that's why this show stands out. You know,
Yep.
This is, in a sea of mediocrity, this is just like a pearl.
You know, I'm a pretty big stickler about wanting to stick to sci-fi and fantasy on this channel. You know, hardcore nerd stuff. I don't know that this necessarily fits that exactly. It is genre storytelling, but it's not even, it's really more comedy than anything. But I don't care. The show is that
There's
good.
Vampires, man. There's vampires.
Yeah,
in
no,
this show.
yeah, no, it fits.
It fits. I mean, maybe not as well as some of the other stuff we talk about, but like, I don't care if it fits perfectly or not. The show is so good. It transcends the need to adhere to my like sci-fi fantasy content type of rule that I have for myself.
I mean, I still say like it's vampires, you know, that's definitely within the fantasy realm. So yeah, but now I'm just so overjoyed that I finally did watch this, and like I remember after I finished this episode, I was like, damn it, I need season 3. and it wasn't out yet. So but that's why, like, as soon as I got home, I started right back at the beginning because I just needed to keep going with it. And yeah, it's just so much
I catch
fun.
a little something, just some little tidbit on every rewatch that I do, and it says a lot that I've rewatched this series so many times, waiting for the next one to come out. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to watching season 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 2 years from now, looking forward to watching the whole thing again, where I've forgotten most of it, and I get to laugh at all the silly jokes again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So
need to watch the movie.
We are goosing tonight. I don't know who else does this, but Sean and I play Goose Goose Duck with some of the folks over at the Radio Westeros Discord. And the people that run it are like, yeah, invite people. So anybody who wants to try Goose Goose Duck, which is kind of like Among Us, but better, it's a fun game. And I'll be playing that tonight.
I will say I am really looking forward to when we do season 3 of watching that season all the way through, binging it, because I've only gotten to see it as it aired on TV. So, an episode a week, but there's something about just, binging it and like and finishing an episode and then starting the next one up and hearing the song again, and it's just,
I love that song. I love that song.
So great.
Long, they have no use for your song. You're dead, you're dead, you're dead. Yeah, so good. And the thing is, the show is eminently binge worthy because it's funny. Like the jokes keep coming, and episodes are only like 20 minutes long, so it's easy to just, oh yeah, it's only 20 minutes. Let's just go straight to the next one.
Yeah, it's like, because I fell a little bit behind on, like, I wanted to start my rewatch a little earlier. I had only gotten in one episode prior to like last night, and I was like, oh god, this is gonna be so tough to cram in. And then I turned it on last night, and I was just flying through episodes. So yeah,
I watched 6 episodes last night and 4 this morning, and it was easy. It was easy.
Yeah.
So, is anything else you want to say about season 2 of What We Do in the Shadows, guys?
Just a great ending. That ending was so good. The season finale was really good.
Yeah, just again, in fairness, I haven't gotten to binge season 3, only watch it week to week. So I'm gonna I should probably hold off my verdict on that. But from where I stand right now, like, this season 2 has kind of been my favorite, just because it just had like the right blend of ridiculousness and fun and creativity, and like I said,
and world building.
The Jackie Daytona episode is my favorite of the series. So obviously it's got that, and I just love the way it ends on such a big cliffhanger. And yeah, it's I really enjoyed getting to talk about season 1 with you guys, but I was looking forward to getting to season 2 so we could dive into it. And yeah, just I love yeah, I love this show, and I'm so mad at myself that I didn't listen to
You got there eventually. Don't be
to
mad.
the people who were telling me, "Damn it, John, watch the show."
Mm.
Don't be mad. Sometimes you just have to get there in your own time, you know.
Yeah.
Nessie, any final thoughts?
Just like Sarah said, I'm really looking forward to season 4, season 5, maybe another movie. Give it to me. I love this series. I love these characters, the writing. I love everything about it.
Well, I couldn't agree more, but I think this is the point where we actually have to relent for once and call it an evening. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I'm over here like fighting my yawn reflex. Sorry. Not that you're boring, but I'm a little tired. I hurt my back Friday and haven't been sleeping great the last couple of days, so a little tired. But yeah, I do want to say thanks to everyone for coming and watching and hanging out with us while we talk about this silly show that we really liked. Come back next week, right here on Here Be Dragons, and I know that nerd with Dancing Sean from History of Westeros. It's going to be rad. He's a cool guy, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Come to John's channel Saturday, 6 days from right now, where he will have our good friend Micah Clark as his guest to talk about Dragonheart. I was like, I'm going to get there, but Dragonheart, a solid Dragon Age movie. And then, Nessie, we will figure out a time where we're going to talk about Fizban's Treasury of Dragons and the expanded dragon lore from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I've gotten Emily of the Eyrie committed on that one too, so we'll have a good panel.
I like Emily. She's good.
She's good, folks.
She is. So everyone who was here in the chat, thank you so much for watching with us live. For everybody who is watching this later, also thank you, just not quite as much. And John left early. We're left with Johnny Daytona, regular human. But yeah, that's it for us, folks. We'll see you next time. And until then, you know what it is. Peace and be excellent to each other.